Welcome to Death and Aliens, an in-depth look at horror and sci-fi TV from two cousins who vaguely know what they're doing. I'm MK.
And I'm Monica.
And if you're watching, you can see we are both decked out in Bill's gear. It is currently the halftime at this very moment mark of the Bills and Ravens game. And since this podcast will not go out for another week, this might age very badly, but we will see.
Yeah, quarter three literally just started, as you said we were at halftime. Yeah.
Perfect.
Let the fans do while we talk about a movie.
Yeah, so no offense to anyone who doesn't give a shit about sports, because somehow I feel like the intersect between true crime and sports is not very large. But we are going to be paying attention to the game while we're doing this.
Mm-hmm. It's a very important game. The Bills are number one in the AFC. And this is a very important game because the Bills haven't been in the playoffs and made it to like a second playoff game since, 1995?
Yeah. Last week, we won our first playoff game since 1995. This sweater I am wearing is the 1990 Bills Eastern Conference Division winner sweater because it's been, that long since we were.
There were 20 years.
So this is a very important day for us. We're with the Ravens, and so it's very stressful.
Yeah, I will say game like I thought last game I had a stroke. I thought last week's game was really stressful and sitting down and watching it was not fun. But I went downstairs before me and Mary Kate started recording just now, and my parents, they're watching it right now. And my mom has had 3 glasses of wine, and she's like, this is the most stressful game to sit through. She's like, the score should be completely different right now, but everyone keeps missing field goals and no one's getting touchdowns.
Well, the third quarter has only been going on for about a minute, and the win percentage for the Bills has already gone up 2%. So
now we're at 57% chance of winning. Wow. Here we go. But enough with us getting geeky over the Bills, because I don't know if anyone really out here is, because we have some people who aren't even in America who may not follow American football, or people who normally, like me, don't give a flying shit about football, but because it's a hometown who's made it very far, I will support. I got my Beasley jersey on.
Well, and then there's me who our Monica's dad and our uncle have a sports podcast, and I used to guest on it before I moved to Thailand, and then my students were I remember I was teaching a class in America, and I said that I was a guest commentator on a sports podcast, and the kids were like, no, you're not. So then I told them what we talked about on the podcast the night before, and they were really impressed. So 10th grade boys, super impressed when you actually know what you're talking about in sports.
I know what I'm talking about. We got cheering downstairs, so I think we made it to first down. I think.
First and 10.
And
then the percentage is up to 61.
Ooh, wow. Quick comeback for the Bills.
I mean, we're still 3-3.
Yeah. We might be going into overtime. I really don't know. I'm scared.
I hope not. I can't handle that today.
Me neither. And I've learned a bit about sports. I don't like to give people from my past any credit, but I learned a lot because the people in my past did watch sports a lot, and I watched it with them. And it was interesting. It was still fun to watch. I still enjoyed watching it. I didn't watch heavily throughout the season, and this was one of the seasons that the Bills absolutely demolished for us. And Josh Allen, not only is he a cutie and a gorgeous-looking man, he also knows what he's doing with that football, and it pisses me off when any sports commentator, when we're playing an away game, is like, Josh Allen sucks if he has a bad game or a bad throw, and literally any other.
We're looking specifically at you, Nick, right?
Yeah. It's bullshit. It literally is bullshit. Every other quarterback is just like, oh, he had a rough arm. He got injured in the last game. When they were giving Allen shit and he like busted up his shoulder the game before. I can't remember which game who they were playing against, and he wasn't doing super great. But he like literally fucked up his shoulder like a game beforehand.
Literally.
And
This is how serious people from Buffalo are about sports, though. Like, true story. So Nick Wright is an NFL commentator who has consistently through this season shit on Buffalo and does not understand why we're in the playoffs. He's the only one. Like, at this point, all the other commentators have started to come around and realize that, like, this is not a fluke, but not this man. Some crazy MFer from Buffalo went in and edited his Wikipedia page. So it says, despite the fact that this man's last name is right, he is clearly wrong about Josh Allen.
I love that. Do like we're very close. Well, Mary Kate's in Thailand, but she was born here and she's coming back here, so that's exciting. But we're very close to Buffalo, like literally like a 20-minute drive away from Buffalo. Like we're from Niagara Falls. We consider ourselves part of Buffalo in the same sense. Same. And so that is true. I was a Falls kid, which kind of hate that. But sorry to any of my friends that went to the Falls with. If we're still friends, I clearly don't hate you. Everyone else, goodbye. You wouldn't be listening to this anyway. Like and Mary Kate just told me in Allentown, it's called Welcome to Josh Allentown, and I love that. And apparently, I was talking to my stepdad about this. When Pominville was doing really good in 06 and 07, just the city of Buffalo was welcome to Pominville.
Also, they changed all the signs a couple years ago when the Pagulas bought the Sabres and the Bills. They changed all the signs in Buffalo to say "Welcome to Pagulaville," and then it got so serious that my iPhone at the time recognized Pagulaville as a word.
I love that. See, Buffalo, literally, people from Buffalo are crazy. Like, we're a different breed, man.
I mean, Buffalo fans throw themselves through tables to celebrate winning.
Yeah, like, I don't think there's a single person who doesn't follow sports that knows of the Bills Mafia and how fucking insane we are.
I literally told my mom that the thing I'm the most scared about is that we win the Super Bowl. Like, I'm terrified that happens because do you remember what Boston looked like when the Red Sox won the World Series for the first time in 100 years?
Yep.
Now, imagine that, but Buffalo.
And you want to know what sucks because of COVID? If they win, sorry, 2nd and goal at Baltimore for Buffalo, and they still have the ball.
Nice. Oh, hold on, I think my page needs to be touchdown!
Woo! My thing hasn't updated. What the hell?
Pass short left to Stephon Diggs for 3 yards. Touchdown! Extra point is good!
Did our percentage of winning go up at all?
Sure did. It's now at 74.3%.
Oh, yeah. Sorry,
wow. So many people don't care about anything that we just did. But you know what?
No.
I don't care. I don't do this podcast for you.
Yeah, we do it for us. Like, it's for us. Like, we hope you enjoy it, but it's for us.
Yeah.
And, like, we're going to go into Rebecca in one quick second. I promise. But the thing is now that COVID's going on and they have the victory parade for whoever wins the Super Bowl, that's going to be literal hell. I'm like, if COVID is really still bad here, they should wait till the summer.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Do you actually think anybody in Buffalo is going to care about COVID if we win the Super Bowl?
True. The city will be burning. But like in a good way.
There will be cars on fire.
It'll be a party, bro. Like they're a party in the street.
People will burn Josh Allen's name into grass with gasoline. Like it will be.
Yeah. God, I'm kind of scared. I'm scared.
Literally.
And now there's 9 minutes and 30 seconds left of quarter 3. So, okay, I'm gonna extend my I mean, it's not going to help me not hear my parents scream out of excitement downstairs or cry out of sadness downstairs. So I'll know something happened, but I fold my screen because I can't watch right now because we're in the lead and I'm just going to pretend that we are to the end. So before we fully dive into Rebecca, you have a good week?
No.
I think we both can agree we're not going to sit and talk about our weeks. We both had very bad weeks.
No, just to update everyone on the saga that is my teaching life, because we talked about that. My holiday that I talked about last week got canceled. I am now teaching again, but online. And to all my fellow teachers out there who have been doing hybrid or online classes this whole school year, my heart goes out to you so hard, because trying to get third graders to enroll in a Google Classroom correctly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't imagine being any fun.
Yeah. So it's kind of been a little fun at work, because we're trying to make, so we started by making these videos that we were posting on our school's YouTube. And then the parents were like, the videos are kind of boring, which is totally fair, because it was like YouTube videos of PowerPoints with us doing a voiceover.
Yeah.
So, and like, I got praise from my bosses that mine was one of the best, because I have a very animated voice and I acted as if I was talking to the kids and not just narrating something. Because I have a degree in theater and I do a podcast and I'm just a really good teacher. So they were just like, and like, they love my videos. I've been getting so much praise this week. So that has been really nice, because I feel really validated at work right now, because like, both from the Thai teachers and the English teachers, like everyone is very, very grateful for what I'm doing. So like, positive reinforcement is helpful to anyone who is a manager. If someone's doing a good job, fucking tell them.
Yeah.
But so my videos have been fine, but like, I privately tutor a few kids, and one of the kids literally looked at me while I was teaching him and was like, this is too boring. I don't want to do it, because the video that he had to watch was 20 minutes and I couldn't watch it.
Mm-hmm.
It was so bad.
Jeez.
So like, it's been interesting, but so we're trying to do fun things to make the videos more interesting. So like, right now in my class in English, we are learning about transportation. So like, motorcycle, car, helicopter. And so we had a little segment where we were like, how do you get to school? And then me and the other third grade English teachers like drove around the parking lot on different forms of transportation. And
That's
like,
really
it was really cute. And like, one of the other teachers, my boss, her baby was at school that day and she was wearing squeaky shoes. So we had her walk across the crosswalk to come into the school in her squeaky shoes. So like, we're trying to make it, we had a playground spelling bee, and like, we're just like trying to make it fun. One of the fourth grade English teacher did her playground spelling bee, and in it I'm laying upside down in the slide as if I'm asleep, and she's like, boys and girls, Miss MK is taking a nap on the slide. Let's go wake her up and ask her a spelling word. And like, so we're as teachers, we are doing everything we possibly can to make this not the most boring thing in the
almost
world.
like a television show in a way.
Yeah, but it's a lot of work. And like, usually, I don't know about other teachers, but like, I feel like even though I'm always very tired at the end of the day, it's like a good kind of tired, because you get that like energy back from the kids.
Mm-hmm.
But like, this week has been very, very long, because we're putting in the same amount of effort into making PowerPoints and teaching and videos and all the stuff that we normally do, only we don't have the kids to like give us that energy back. So it's been a long week.
Yeah, I can only imagine. Like, my week has been the same as every other week that we do a week recap. There was some like personal stuff that had gone on, and I've talked to Mary Kate about it separately, but you know, you're living and learning. Things are getting better day by day. So here's to, hopefully a better year.
One more student joined my classroom.
Yay! Now, how many are in there now? What, 6 or 5?
I'm up to 6 of my 59 students, except for one of them. He joined the English and the math, but he didn't join the science yet. Okay. You can do it. Come on. Come on, Griffin. Just join the science class. You got it. Yeah, 6. So 6 of my 59 students are enrolled in the Google Classroom, and we start tomorrow.
Oh my god. Well, you still have a full day. What are you guys supposed to do if parents and students don't sign up?
Continue to text them and tell them that they need to be in the classroom.
Ah, okay. Okay. I see. I see. I understand. I understand perfectly. Imagine a teacher having parents sign
Gonna
up.
be great. Gonna be great. Gonna be great. Speaking of great,
Like this movie.
this movie.
Is that? I think
So
we needed something good.
we we definitely needed something good after that shit show that was the end of Hemlock Grove season 2. And we wanted to have some kind of Hemlock Grove tie-in. So we chose to watch Rebecca, and I did not. Now, also, we do this about a week in advance. So the episode that is going to come out on what is today, January 17th, is when we announce that we're doing Rebecca. And then this episode that we are filming right now will be coming out a week after that. So I just want to address this trigger warning. We chose this before any of the news about the allegations about Armie Hammer came out. So I don't really want to talk about that or get into it. I don't know enough about the story to make any comments. And also what I do know is very, very difficult to even process.
And
So,
I didn't even know until literally right now that anything happened because I don't keep up.
there's been some sexual misconduct allegations about Armie Hammer that are very, very graphic and very, very uncomfortable. Like cannibalism level uncomfortable. So I don't want to discuss them, and but I'm also like, I just wanted to just address that. I'm not glorifying him or excusing him. We literally picked this and recorded it and started recording it before anything came out. And so I just...
Very good preface, Mary Kate. Because I wouldn't have known because I don't watch a lot of that, like that stuff that goes on. So I don't know.
It came up in a Facebook group that I'm in, like asking about it, and I read some of the screenshots that have been posted, and I don't ever want, I wish I could literally bleach them from my brain. But I also, there's like a lot of confusion and questioning on how true they are, but like if they are true, they're really, really bad. And like,
Yeah.
so I just want to preface this by, if they are true and he really did those things, it's horrible and disgusting and he's an awful human being. If they're not true, like, shame on anyone for trying to say something like that, because where did you even come up with them? They're that bad. But we watched this movie before any of that came out. Like, obviously Monica just said she had never even heard them until this moment. So I hate the whole like appreciate the art, not the artist kind of thing. Like, I don't think that works all the time, but we did this before it came out. Like, that's just...
Also, I am really sorry that it looks like I'm like distracted. There's like screaming and car doors slamming outside my house, and I really don't know what that's for, and I was getting scared.
Well, it's not for the game because nothing has happened.
Unless there's just, an argument happening outside with one of my neighbors, which
Um,
probably could be it.
could be it. Let's see. Yeah, the Ravens have the ball, but they have not scored. So I don't know. Maybe it was just really bad play. Who knows? But
So
just wanted to preface that and put that out there because like literally as I was reading these allegations, I was like, shit, I'm doing a podcast about him in 3 days.
yeah, I didn't know any of that. Oh my god.
Yeah, I would send you the screenshots, Monica, but you don't want to read them. Like they're that bad.
I probably don't.
So, that aside, Rebecca. Rebecca came out on Netflix on October 30th, 2020. It was directed by Ben Wheatley and screenwritten, like the screenplay was written by Anna Waterhouse. And I'm going to be honest, I don't know a single thing that either of them have ever did. I looked through their IMDb's and recognized exactly 0 of the titles. So like,
yeah, and there's not really a lot of special effects makeup. This is a drama thriller. So it's a lot of just normal either like date makeup where it's like set in a certain time period. And this was like in the 40s, 50s.
late 30s.
Oh wait, 30s. Oh, I was off. I was thinking because there was like vibes that were giving me 40s and there was also jazz music. I was just a little confused.
No, it takes place in 1936. And you only know that for sure. There's one moment that will tell you for sure. When the narrator, main character, is trying to decide whether she's going to throw the ball again, she's looking at the invitations that Rebecca had sent from the year before, and they say 1935.
Yes, that's what I was thinking. We gotta cheer. Oh, I got a yeah! So did we get a touchdown? We got a touchdown, I'm pretty sure.
No, we did not get a touchdown, but the Jackson threw the ball and it was incomplete.
Oh no, someone ran 101 yards down the field.
What? Hold on, that has not updated yet.
3rd and goal, Buffalo 9. Someone wants to jack the ball at the last second.
No, 3rd and goal on the Buffalo 9 is the Ravens, but their last shot was incomplete.
Oh.
Oh, no. Oh, no. You are absolutely right. Jackson pass short, middle intended for Andrews. Interception by Johnson at the Buffalo -1. Johnson for 101 yards. Touchdown. Extra point is good.
So we have, it's now 13
it in the end zone and ran 101 yards.
Shit! Wait, who ran it again?
Johnson.
Oh, yep, my thing just updated. We're at 3-16 now. And with 41 or 3
extra points good, 17. Win percentage for Buffalo is now up to 95.
Oh shit. After a play like that, I don't blame them. We have 41 seconds in the 3rd quarter. God, I feel bad. We keep getting distracted because
the Bills podcast at this point. Screw the movie.
We're my dad and Uncle Jeff right now. But so, whew. Okay, where were we?
So the movie is set in 1936, and all of the makeup is just everyday normal people makeup. There's one scene that is a masquerade that some of the characters have a little heavier, like party makeup. But other than that, there's not really anything special effects wise.
No, I wrote down her information on like stuff that like I thought she did makeup for The Crown, and she did like 1 episode of the Game of Thrones for hair.
So she's pretty much like your average normal movie hair and makeup person, yeah.
Her name is Lauren Allen, or Laura Allen, not Lauren Allen. So this movie, I honestly really liked it.
Yeah, so like we said last week, Monica did not know the story at all, whereas I have read the book and seen the Hitchcock movie, and it is in my top 10 favorite books ever. So to start, I want to ask Monica some of her thoughts and opinions on having, like, what she thought, having seen it blankly. Like, not going in knowing nothing?
So I really was I was thinking that this was going to turn paranormal at some point. And I just had like an underlying feeling about it. Like there were essences of it throughout the movie where you could definitely say like there's a spirit there, but I don't think it was a literal spirit. It was just like the image of her that was carried through everyone who had respected her. It made her feel like she was still there.
Mhm.
And I think that was intended for that, and they were just using visual cues to like almost kind of represent that in the movie, which I thought was pretty cool. Um, the way the story was going, I knew in the beginning everything was way too happy for that to last as long as it did. um, I will say the ending, not like the ending, but like where that whole big
The
I'm allowed
tw-
to say it, right? Because we're not
yeah.
like going through it. Okay. So when
Yeah,
we find out that
we're not going to go through it step by step and plot wise just because it's a 2 hour movie and we don't have time for that. Um, so we're going under the assumption that you know what we're talking about.
yes. So when we find out that he killed his husband, not his husband, his wife, and
Oh
she,
yeah,
I was
that's my thought. Did you expect the twist at all?
honestly no, I was not expect. I thought I feel like they had because I was like, oh, like he has a temper. I didn't think that he did that until right when like maybe like 2 or 3 minutes right before they told us. Like there was something that gave a little tip to it because of how he was reacting after the body was found, and I was um like holy shit. I really didn't. I thought like they had arguments, and I think he didn't like he dealt with a lot of things, and like she had like maybe threatened him with something. I knew that their relationship wasn't perfect, and I knew that there was going to be issues that were going to come out.
Yeah.
And I think whether it be that she like almost like said that he was a reason for her like wanting to die and killing herself, and that's kind of what made him so like touchy to not talking about it. I felt like it had something to do with him, but I didn't think he actually killed her. And then I was like, oh fuck, never mind. And then she was just like, no, you identified the wrong body. And his like new wife was like, no, you just identified the wrong body, you know.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, so they can actually be happy. I was actually kind of happy about that. If that is that wrong?
No, I mean,
Because I
so
was happy, like, because after I heard about everything that Rebecca did to him, I was like, honestly, bro, I would have done the same shit.
yeah.
I mean,
So
left.
so the this movie was actually incredibly accurate to the book. Like I was very impressed. Um, I told Monica that I was going to know within the first 3 seconds of the movie whether I was going to like it or not, because if it did not start with last night I dreamt I went to Manderley again, I was immediately not going to watch the rest of the movie. Sorry, not sorry. But I thought it was really, really well done. I have to say, as I was watching it, I didn't remember the pre getting married stuff being so long. Like I was like, but then I went back and I like looked at like a chapter by chapter summary of the book and I was like, oh no, I guess it was the first 4 chapters. But like the book, the what's going on in Mrs. De Winter's like life and existence and paranoia and the ghost stuff um, is much more detailed in the book. Like the plot was basically exactly the same except for one moment that I'll talk about. But there's a lot of detail that wasn't there. Like Beatrice and Jack, like his sister and Jack, are much more developed in the book, and their relationships to Mrs. De Winter and their supporting her is much clearer.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I still think they did a good job of showing that like those were the two people that were like kind to her. So I didn't mind that because obviously the movie was already over 2 hours. Like
Yeah.
um
And
in the
re-
book, the one thing that is different in the book that I knew going into this movie was going to be different because I'd read about it is that Mrs. Danvers, like the relationship bordering on obsessive, like almost lesbianic love for Rebecca is not how it is in the book. It's very, very much just like I was her nurse, she was mine. Like it's
almost like a motherly
it's
thing,
almost more of a mother thing in the book than it is in the movie.
a love thing,
Yeah.
like a
But she's also
romantic.
still a sketchy bitch who tries to get her to kill herself. But the one thing that is different is that the book ends right when they get to the house and it's on fire. So
Oh.
so they're at dinner and they get a phone call from Frith that Mrs. Danvers is missing and they can't find her. And then they go home and the house is on fire. So Mrs. Danvers does disappear and potentially kill herself, but we don't see that in the book.
Oh.
Yeah.
Let's write this in, and then the whole shit about where they go afterwards in the movie at the very end, because it was like that when she like wakes up from her dream and her nightmare, and like now they're in this happy little.
Oh, in Cairo. Yeah, in Egypt. Yes, that's real. So the whole book is told from the hotel room in Egypt as a memory, which is how last night I dreamt I went to Manderley again. Like she's telling the story of this house and how she got to where she is. So that's all true. Just that scene of Mrs. Danvers killing herself and the confirmation that Mrs. Danvers is the one who burned the place down, those are not in the book.
Okay.
Yeah. That's literally the only plot change.
See, and which is honestly that's good for
yeah.
a book to movie adaptation,
Right,
especially
like Ben, the innkeeper's son, giving her the secrets when Max won't talk to her. The Jack, her cousin, being the potential mystery father of this baby that's not really a baby. Like everything is spot on, perfect.
Honestly, that was the most like probably one of the best things that solidified Max not killing her was that she had uterine cancer, and
in the book,
it was and she was like about to die.
When I first read the book, that was the thing that messed me up. Like him killing her, I was like, whoa. But then finding out that she had cancer and that being pregnant was a lie and that she got him to kill her, because basically she manipulated him into killing her so that she wouldn't have to suffer and he would also have to suffer. And I was like, damn, this bitch.
Rebecca is a bitch.
Oh yeah.
Don't feel bad.
No.
Zero remorse in this household for Rebecca.
No.
We don't
here. None. Like, but even down to the scene where she walks in the red dress, that's the same as the painting, and then he freaks out. Like that's exactly how that scene happened in the book.
Like, and it kind of pissed. I literally have a note written down. I'm like, oh, so like her and Mrs. Danvers are actually I'm like it's actually kind of sweet because like they're playing with marionettes and like puppets and like a theater and a ballroom.
He was setting her up the whole time.
I know, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, you old wrinkly bitch.
No,
I'm
literally.
Sorry.
Mrs. Danvers is like one of my favorite characters to hate that I've ever read in a book. Like,
honestly, I feel like that would be some shit Olivia would do.
Oh my god. Yes.
Olivia's Mrs. Danvers.
Except for also like a little bit Olivia's Rebecca and Anna is Mrs. Danvers.
Oh yeah.
But Anna's not smart enough to manipulate it.
True. Very true.
Yeah.
But I mean, and like the whole thing about the whimsical, like the way that they like displayed like her dreams and with him sleepwalking, like that's where I thought it was becoming paranormal, is because of his sleepwalking. I thought her literal ghost was guiding him to her.
And that's the thing. I have to say, like the plot was not any different in this, but I have to say that the spooky thriller elements, it didn't feel as dark as I wanted it to.
Mm-hmm.
Like in the book, there's this, because it's a gothic thriller, there's this like sense of like darkness over everything. Like you feel like Manderley, when you're reading about it, like feels cold, like you can feel the presence of a ghost in there. The colors that they used for the house were so warm and bright and open that like it was a little, I didn't really quite love that. I hated the mirror room. I hated that. That was so, it was so ugly.
Yeah, and also, you want to know what I'm gonna say? The West Wing in Beauty and the Beast seems more darker and cold.
Right, like it was supposed to have that same feel, and it didn't.
Yeah, and that's very fair. That is very fair.
So, like, and there were some things, like, I have to say, most of her dreams, I didn't feel like they were scary enough. The only dream scene that I really, really liked was the being choked by the vines.
Yes, and her waking up with actual scratches on her body. That's
Yeah.
when I thought some shit was going on paranormally. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, her ghost is actually here and she's gonna come back and kill this new wife. Way to go. How great is this?
I yeah.
Like, I
Um
really thought that's where it was headed.
I yeah, but I loved most of the casting. I think Mrs. Danvers was cast perfectly.
Mhm.
Truthfully, the only part of the casting that I really did not like is I didn't like Army Hammer as Max.
No, I didn't. He didn't feel. He felt uncomfortable and stiff in the role, and not. I feel as loose and fun as I think Maxim should have been in the beginning parts, where he should have
Well,
been
and
more
the
goofy
thing
and fun.
is, reading the book, Max is stiff, but not in an uncomfortable way. In a I'm clearly hiding something way. Like he's
Yeah.
supposed to be so charming that in a week this girl just fell madly in love with him and then spent the rest of the book being afraid he didn't love her. Like,
Hmm.
and that's the thing is like I felt that the chemistry between them wasn't there.
Yeah.
And the idea that she was so terrified that he didn't love her anymore and that he was still in love with Rebecca, it wasn't believable to me.
No.
And I think it's because I didn't believe him in that role. Like, I think appearance wise, perfect.
Yeah.
Like, they basically looked at his face and shape of his shoulders and was like, great, you're Max de Winter. But like, none of it was there.
Yeah, like his personality, the way he would have carried the role of just, I don't think that. And I mean, I've never even read the book, and it just didn't feel right.
Right. If you, I'm going at this in a deep kind of psychotic love of Max de Winter because I shouldn't be in love with a gothic murderer, but here I am. So, but you didn't even read the book. You've never seen the Hitchcock movie. You have nothing to compare it to, and you still felt like he was too stiff. So,
Like, I
prop.
just don't, the way that she fell in love with him, because here's my thing: you could see the difference in who he was when they first met and when she came back to Mandalay.
Yeah.
But the thing, which is fine, it shows that, but I don't think it showed an extreme of either. It was just like a slight change. He was just a little bit more angrier because like he would still get angry and irritated with things when they were together. Like obviously she was at fault for something because she was snooping around. I literally have a note saying, "Does this bitch have Miranda syndrome too?" I swear to God.
Well,
And I'm like, don't
so
snoop.
the movie, the one thing I will say is that the movie did not give a good enough explanation of why Max acted the way he did. Like,
Hmm.
and part of it's because it's a movie, so you can't go into the detail that you can in a book. But like every time he gets awkward in their first week, there's a reason for it. Like when she's reading the poetry. Obviously, Rebecca never loved Max. So a book of love poems, it's not about, oh, I still love her and she's not there. Like, I don't remember exactly, but I'm pretty sure there's something specific in that book that like was why he didn't want her to read it. The place where they were in Monte Carlo where they were overlooking like water and he got really upset about having been there before on his honeymoon. In the book, that spot is where Rebecca straight up tells him that's where they're standing when she tells him I'm going to play the perfect wife and you're going to want and everybody's going to think I'm perfect but I'm going to screw whoever I want and there's nothing you can do about it. That's where they were when she said that.
Oh.
The whole thing about water, they did kind of address the fact that he didn't want to go swimming because Rebecca drowned, but it's not that. It's that he drowned her body and like, and also Rebecca's boathouse and where and being in the boat and the whole thing. There was way more about what she used to do and use the boathouse for that they never talked about in the movie.
I could kind of feel what it was used for
Yeah,
because her cousin's photograph was found on the dresser in there.
right. Um,
And I was like, you want, like, this, honey, like, you're all the way out in at Mandalay, and like, you don't you shouldn't fornicate with your cousin. Like I know like that was really big like in ancient like European times to keep the bloodline clean, but
Yeah. No, but
nope.
also like, and also like little things that they just don't mention in the movie that like are so important. Like the boat, Rebecca's boat is named De Revian. And they show, the only time they even show that her boat is named that is when uh, Mrs. De Winter, the main character, who does not have a name in the book either. Like, so Monica was like, I don't like that she didn't have a name. I was like, she just because she doesn't have a name in the book either. She is the narrator. When she sees the name on the boat, she remembers the life ring in the boathouse, and that's how she knows it's Rebecca's boat. But De Revian means, in French, it means to keep coming back. And so like Rebecca keeps coming back. She never stops coming back. Like, so that's super significant. Like just little things that they don't touch on in the movie that, oh, I could talk about this book for literally ever. I would have to reread it because it's been 10 years since I've read it, but like,
Yeah. Like and I've never read it. But I mean the story was really good. I thought it was um I had like the perfect little bit of romance with, problematic ex-wives that are, dead, but are also because you murdered them. Um and finding out that they murdered them. Like I honestly think that I think it was honestly really comforting for Mrs. De Winter to find out that her husband didn't not love her. It was that he kind of felt like he couldn't love her in a
yeah.
way because he held back from the secret of that he killed his ex-wife because or his past wife because of the fact that she was a piece of shit to him.
Well, and I like it a lot from the standpoint of, and this is one of the reasons why it became such a popular book, is from the standpoint of the in the Gothic novel, there's like the jaded ex-husband whose dead wife is a ghost, and usually it is because he's still like in love with her, or because he's a bad person, like
Mm-hmm.
like the Byronic hero, the selfish man, the guy who like is just not a good person, or like you think about Wuthering Heights and Heathcliff is really not a great guy, or like in Jane Eyre, the ghost of the ex-wife is because, fun fact, she's not really dead. She's just crazy and locked up in the attic. And so like you have this like trope of this jaded man with the ghost of his wife never being able to fully love you. And then Daphne du Maurier took it and spun it on its head and was like, no, the ghost of the wife is the horrible person, not the jaded ex-husband. Like
Yeah.
the
And the
real.
ghost of the wife isn't actually a figmented ghost. It's just all the trauma. It's like it was like a weird way of visually post like showing trauma, of portraying it as a ghost.
Well,
And I
like
honestly think it's really interesting.
no, and I like yeah, and that's the thing about it is in reality there's no ghost.
Mm-hmm.
In reality, but like it's as if there's a ghost because the hairbrush, the stationery, everything in the house is just still got Rebecca on it, and it's almost like
A living monument.
there's almost this feeling of Rebecca is not the ghost. The narrator is the ghost, just trying so hard to desperately be in the real world.
Yeah. And like the whole west wing is closed. Like they say like when Danvers was talking to Mrs. De Winter the first time, she's like, the whole west wing is closed. That was Rebecca's.
Yeah,
So they're in the guest wing of the house, in a guest room.
yeah,
And mind you, also, Mrs. De Winter beforehand, she was like she basically was like a paid for just to be company for a
yeah.
old
She was a
lady.
ladies' companion. She wasn't upper class.
And so like this is all she went from being a lady's companion to in one of the biggest houses in Europe and one of the most respected with one of the most respected men in Europe. And she
Yeah,
was
and
just
like
supposed to,
they mention it. They mention it when Mrs. Danvers was giving her a tour of the house that like Manderley has been in the De Winter family since Henry VIII, and they're part of like the Tudor dynasty. So like That's a big, big leap in
to be making.
status.
But then, of course, Mrs. Danvers, there's a point where it was right after the ball. And after, Max was like, the biggest mistake was bringing you here because it's after she came downstairs looking like his dead wife.
And I love that line. I love that line, and I love the way as much as I hate how they played Max in this movie, I love the way that they take his dialogue. And me knowing the ending and knowing Max's character can totally see what he means and what she thinks he means.
Yeah.
And I love that because he doesn't mean you're not good enough for Manderley. He's saying, I never should have brought you into this, the ghost of who I used to be.
Yeah. And
she takes it as that she's not good enough.
And this is right before Rebecca's body becomes discovered, and she's in Rebecca's room about to jump out the window. And Danvers is like, yeah, do it. You're nothing. You're not good enough for him. He'll never love you. You see, she was the real love of his life. You will never be nothing. She's like, no, oh no, he won't be happy again because he already understood what true happiness was, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh my God, Maxwell's going to see Danvers like be complicit in her killing herself, Mrs. Danvers killing herself, and he's going to see this happen. But no, he runs out of the front door, which is right below where Rebecca's room was. And
that really happened in the book at the end of the party when things are about to go awry and everything's a disaster. A boat they see flares coming up and the signal that a boat has crashed aground on the cliff.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And that's when, and at this point I was a little confused. I'm like, wait, didn't he already discover Rebecca's body? I was like, oh, so he must have missed.
That's one plot point that they did change. In the book, they never found her body.
Oh.
Like they just because like there was a storm that night. Like she went out in her boat and her boat is missing, and there was a storm that night, and so they just assume that she's lost at sea. They never actually find her body. At least I don't think so. I don't that's one thing that I don't remember. But I don't believe that they had found her body before.
Because I was like, oh, we probably did honestly misidentify it. Like
and it's very possible that he did, because like in the scene where he's at court and they're like, how did you misidentify your own wife's body? And he describes what happens to a body when it's sitting in the ocean for 2 months. And I was like, gross, but also accurate.
Yeah. But I mean, I really did like Rebecca. It's a really good watch.
Yeah, I would recommend that everyone read the book and also watch the Hitchcock film. But if you don't have time to invest in those two things and you're just looking for something to put on Netflix on a Saturday night and you can stomach watching Armie Hammer in a movie, this is a really, really good film.
It is really good. And I think they did a very good job telling the story as someone who's never seen it. It was interesting for me.
I do have one more complaint, though, and this is a little minor one.
Yes.
I understand that they were trying to show the class difference and the out-of-placeness of the narrator, but they gave her some of the fucking ugliest dresses I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, and the real big thing that I noticed it was in the ball scene when she had to change.
The dress that Beatrice is like, here, this will be fine, wear this. No.
I'm like, you gave her literally like something.
The ugliest outfit she wore in the whole movie was that dress. And it was supposed to be the nicest she looked. I was just baffled.
The only thing I feel like if she went down in the red dress, I think things would have been okay. I think it was her putting on the wig with the brown hair that pushed it.
I think he still would have been upset, but yeah, that definitely made it worse.
And because I don't think that was his aunt, was it? Was that actually his aunt?
Here's the thing, that painting really is of a great aunt in the family. But the previous year at the ball before, Rebecca had recreated the painting for the ball herself, which obviously Danvers knew and told the narrator to do that. So the painting really is of an aunt that he truly loved. Like, that was not the issue. It really used to be his favorite painting. All of that was true. The issue was that Rebecca had done the same thing and done the same entrance the year before.
Oh. Okay. That makes sense.
I'm looking something up quickly.
I'm going to check the bill score.
No, because I was looking up, did women actually wear pants in the 1930s? Because my favorite outfits that she wore were a lot of those pantsuits, and then I was like, is that even historically accurate? But yes, it would have been.
Okay. Also, we are still at 3-17 with 6 minutes and 36 seconds left in the fourth quarter.
And Buffalo has the ball.
Yes.
Our win percentage is currently 99.7.
You love to see it, man. You fucking love to see it. Then we're gonna get fucked in the last 2 seconds of the game because that's how it always goes. This is a really strange episode.
Yeah, really, this is like a Bills podcast where we also throw in some stuff about a movie.
Yeah, honestly, truly, but nonetheless, I really did like Rebecca. I know I'm saying hey, if you haven't watched it, go watch it now after we tell you everything about it. But it's the way a lot of the things unravel, and you get to see there were times where I was like, oh my god, is Mrs. De Winter gonna go down have a psychotic break and just do everything in her power to become Rebecca to think that's gonna please Maxim? And I'm like, oh my god, because she was pulling out her hair from the hairbrush and looking at it, and I was just like, Jesus, what is going on?
I'm just going to read some reviews of the movie, see how we are. I don't. No, that's way too long. I don't want to read a whole Let's see. Rotten Tomatoes. So the Rotten Tomatoes score of this movie, is not high. It's only 39%. But why? Let's see why. Oh, wow, people are really mean.
Then cut to us from 2 episodes ago talking mad shit about everyone who works on Hemlock Grove. My dog is laying underneath the pillow. My head.
Okay, so basically, most of the reviews that gave it really low scores are saying that it just doesn't live up to the Hitchcock version. Which, let's be completely honest, what is ever going to live up to a Hitchcock movie?
Yeah.
And I will agree, the Hitchcock movie shows the darkness of the story a lot better, which I did already comment on. I commented on that this movie was visually and tonally a little too light for me. Mm-hmm. The focus on them falling in love was so much, so heavy. So all the happy parts were way more
exaggerated
than the sad parts. And the darkness of how trapped she really felt and how awkward she felt and the ghost in the house, none of that was really quite as good as it could have been, which I already said. So the reason it has low reviews are all of the things that I've already said were my negative takeaways from it, but I don't think that makes it an unwatchable movie.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think it's if you're looking at a remake, you have to look at it as a completely different entity. I will normally talk mad shit about any remake because most of the time they aren't good as good as the original, because nothing will be, because whether it be nostalgia is placed into your heart as the reason why the original is so good, or just because they were the first of the kind to do it and they're just redoing it because for shits and giggles. Like I don't absolutely hate the Rob Zombie remake of Halloween. Like I don't think it's a terrible movie on its own. I think it's a really interesting take on the story because you get to hear about Michael's backstory, even though I personally don't care to know it because I like the mystery around it of Halloween, and that's why he's one of my favorite slasher villains. But I will respect that as its own piece of work and going, this is a different take on it. They went this route with it. Cool.
Yeah, and see the difference with this one though is just that it's not trying to be a different take. If that makes sense,
True.
it's trying to be the same retelling. It just doesn't quite get there. So like if you ask me what should I do, which like what version of this should I watch if I want the story, 100% the book. Like screw all the film versions. If you really want to understand the story and feel why it's such a good story, the book. Like none of the movies are ever going to compare. But if you want to understand the why it is considered a thriller, you've got to watch the Hitchcock version. Because to be honest, as I was watching the movie, like I said, I enjoyed it. But as I was watching the movie, I was like, I wonder what Monica's going to think about me having her watch this movie because it's not a thriller.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the element of why this has been considered a thriller just didn't feel there.
Yeah. Like I feel like there was some like they were trying to get into some psychological stuff, but I feel like didn't have the guts to go all the way, which
Right.
kind of made
Luckily, they still did a good job of making the twist a genuine twist, and you not like that still feeling like it came out of nowhere. But the underlying like when you read the book, you feel on edge, you feel nervous and anxious and confused, and I didn't
Mhm.
feel that.
Like in all honesty, when I was watching it, I once again I don't hate the movie. I think it's
Yeah.
still a really good movie. Now knowing the story a little bit more, I'm like, it felt like something was missing between her. Like, I think the party scene was a really big mental thing for her, and that's why she wanted to jump off
Which
the
I
window so
will say,
hard.
if I had to pick one scene, one part of the movie that I aesthetically liked the most,
Was when they were chanting Rebecca at her.
after she chased this ghost down the hallway and then was stuck in her own head and then ended up running in panic to the mirror room, that was that I liked because that was the only time that I felt like, oh, this is a modern thriller take on it.
And I would have liked to see more of the psychosis aspect of it to get more of that enjoyment of it's a ghost, but it's everything in your head and it's all this stuff that's influencing you on people's behaviors and mannerisms towards you.
And I,
Because
and I also have to say, like Danvers, the edginess of Danvers and the not trusting her and the feeling like she was attacking her was good. But in the book, she feels that from everyone. Like nobody in the house trusts her. That's why Beatrice and Frank's relationships are so important because they're the only people who are showing her any kindness. The whole staff feels uncomfortable or makes her feel uncomfortable. Not necessarily on purpose. Like Danvers, it's on purpose, but everyone makes her feel uncomfortable. The scene with the grandma was really good, really good.
yes.
But like that that you're not her, and what that causes in her head is so much deeper in the book.
Hmm. And I think the the maid Clarice,
Yeah.
uh, I like her character. I feel like and you can kind of tell that she always felt tension around any of the staff because they're like not allowed to show emotions at all. It's like they're guarding the freaking gates of,
Well,
what.
and Clarice's character is interesting, and I can't remember if that's her name in the book. I want to say it's a different name, but it's the same like idea of a character. But the tension between once you become someone's personal maid in that time period, and like the culture of like British like serving houses, when you're someone's personal maid, your loyalty is supposed to be to them. So Clarice has this loyalty to Mrs. De Winter, but the whole house has this loyalty to Rebecca, And so Clarice is kind of caught in this weird spot
Mm-hmm.
where, and it was obvious after the ball scene where Clarice was crying that like Danvers, obviously being very aware of the social implications of being a servant, is specifically giving Clarice only pieces of information so that she can't appear unloyal, but she can still have things go wrong. And so Clarice has this awful tension where she is just trapped, but that only adds to the narrator's psychosis because she can't even trust the one person in the house that she's supposed to be able to trust.
Mm-hmm.
And I did like what they did with Clarice's character. I just, again, the rest of the tension and darkness wasn't heavy enough for Clarice's character to really be fleshed out.
Yeah, that's very true. That's right. Because I wouldn't have detected any of that because I just thought that she actually did like her. And
Yeah.
it was like, wait, no. Because remember when she said that, oh, like she's a replacement maid, like she'll be in, like your actual maid will come in
Yes.
later this. So
Yes.
I don't.
Which is, and in the book also, like obviously this lady doesn't have a maid, she was a maid, so she gets a maid from Danvers. So that's why I don't remember if it's actually Clarice, but basically Danvers gives her a maid, which is why the maid has the stuck loyalty.
Oh, because the way I was interpreting it for a second, I thought it was this was another maid that came on after Rebecca left, but the maid that's supposed to take care of like the lady of the house, even though Danvers won't do it because it's not Rebecca. That's why I think she said no, I'll take her because she was assuming that she had no ties to Rebecca to be uncomfortable.
No, it was mostly that like she was like, well, if, because the thing is, and they did play the naivety a little bit. They played it pretty well, like Lily James's character, they played pretty well, but this girl comes in having literally no idea what she's supposed to do. So
Mm-hmm.
she's just trying to trust that the house is going to, like the staff of the house is going to give her the benefit of the doubt because of their love for Max, not realizing that really their loyalty is
Rebecca.
Rebecca, because despite the fact that it's Max's house and Max's staff, Mrs. Danvers is not Max's staff. She was Rebecca's staff. She just stayed on because and also as we learn, like Rebecca was a terrible wife and she was a horribly mean, cruel person, but she played the belle of society so well. She ran the house exactly the way someone's supposed to in that time. So the staff grew a loyalty to her because they were useful. Like they were doing things correctly. So there's this whole like not only do they have loyalty to someone else, not you, you don't know what you're doing to try and get them to like you. So there's like this whole awkwardness where she basically takes on the maid Danvers gives her because she knows she's supposed to have a maid.
Mm-hmm.
Not because she cares about who the maid's loyal to. She doesn't want a maid. She thinks, oh, I'll just do it by myself. And they're like, yeah, no, that's not going to work.
Yeah. This movie was just freaking crazy. But I liked it. It's an interesting movie to watch, but I probably would not. I wouldn't mind watching the Alfred Hitchcock version of it as well. I do like Hitchcock. He has a lot of good movies.
Yeah. I just recommend everyone read it. It's in my top 10 favorite books ever. So,
I'm currently still trying to get through Midnight Sun, so I'll get back to you on that when I can.
I'm still trying to finish uh, this bad boy. So,
Ah, I see.
I mean,
Next.
I'm a good,
Oh yeah, you're pretty far in.
yeah.
See, I I'm not excited because I know what next week's episode is, and I don't want to do it.
Yeah, unfortunately, next week we will be returning to Hemlock Grove, Pennsylvania.
for our third and final season of what I like to call this clusterfuck of a show. But I will say, me and Mary Kate did sit down and plan out, I'm pretty sure, almost the rest of 2020, literally, before we recorded this. A pretty good hunk of what 2020 is going to be.
Yeah.
We have a lot of good shows that are be coming up, good specials that are coming up that me and Mary Kate, there's one that me and Mary Kate are very excited for.
Yeah.
Um, and I think everyone else you'll either 100% be on board and love it, or 100% positively, absolutely hate it.
Also, I did promise I was going to make a shout out, and then I forgot because I got excited about football. But I'd like to give a shout out to a podcast y'all should listen to. It is called Xander and Stone. It is a science and supernatural podcast. Their tagline on the Instagram says, "If it's out there and it's weird, we're going to talk about it," which is right up my alley.
So we're going to talk about us one day.
Maybe. I mean, we're out there and we're weird.
Mm-hmm.
But if you guys are looking for more weird ass shit to listen to, check out Xander and Stone. Yeah.
There you go.
Also, since you guys are here, don't worry, the Bills are still winning 17-3, and there's 2 minutes and 50 seconds left in the game.
Oh, God. Okay. I'm going to go have a
The Ravens do have the ball, unfortunately.
Okay, that's it. They just got to run the clock. They just got to run the clock. Even if they get a touchdown and a field, no.
Did we? Yes, they just turned over the ball on the 4th, and the Buffalo has the ball now.
They would have to get a touchdown and a field goal to tie the game.
Yeah. It is, no, they'd have to get 2 touchdowns to tie the game. We're 14 points ahead.
Oh, yeah, they'd have to get 2 touchdowns to tie the game.
There's a 99.6% chance of us winning this game.
That means that we're going to be seeing the Kansas City Chiefs, baby.
Wait, and this is the divisional round. Wait, so the Kansas City game, that's whoever wins the game goes to the Super Bowl.
If the Bills are at the Super Bowl, dude, we'll have a party even if we lose the Super Bowl. We'll just be at the Super Bowl. That'll be crazy enough as it is.
No. You were not alive.
I wasn't, because it was in the 90s. And I wasn't even
You were not alive. I was alive for the 4th one. When we went to the Super Bowl.
Fireworks popping off somewhere around here.
So the Bills have gone to the Super Bowl 4 times. Those 4 times were 4 years in a row. And they lost all 4 years in a row. And I witnessed one of them. I mean, I was 11 months old, so like I only kind of witnessed it. But I don't know if I can handle us going to the Super Bowl and losing again. Like, if we go, we gotta go.
Honestly, a lot of people didn't think we would win this game.
I was nervous about this game.
And then if we beat the Kansas City Chiefs, that means we go to the Super Bowl. But who else? Who would be play? Who are the people that we could be playing against?
Let's see. Well, Green Bay just beat the Rams. And then There is still to be played. We keep saying we're going to play the Chiefs, but also like the Browns could magically beat the Chiefs. I doubt it, but it's still technically possible. Um, so Green Bay won their game. So then it's the Browns versus the Chiefs, and then Tampa Bay versus New Orleans. Now here's the crazy thing. Tom Brady moved to Tampa Bay, which means he left the AFC and he's now in the NFC. So could you imagine if Tampa Bay goes all the way and we have to play Tom effing Brady in the Super Bowl?
I'd rather kill myself than see that game. Because I hate Tom Brady. Yes, he's a good uh, quarterback, but he's also a little bitch boy of a quarterback because I don't like the way he acts.
Sorry, but grown men who wear Uggs, no.
No. Grown men who are Tom Brady? No. And listen, I love John Krasinski just as much as the next person, but fuck him for loving the Patriots. Well, no, I don't care that he loves the Patriots, but I just don't. He could have just liked the Patriots and not just
Patriots.
it's really fucked. But like, because they also suck now, so like that's cute. And so
Also,
and no,
if you guys really want to party and you want to bop to dance to, Tokyo Hotel just released a new song called White Lies, and it is an effing banger.
and if anyone wants another bop to, it came out early 2020. It's called Thin White Lies by by 5 Seconds of Summer. Also, my lipstick looks really crusty, and so does my makeup. But we're not going to talk about it.
Yeah, no. White Lies by Tokyo Hotel and Vise. It is currently the theme song for the new season of Germany's, no, I don't know, whatever show Heidi Klum hosts right now. I don't effing know. Project Runway Germany something.
It says 4th and 1 at the buff 19, and we have the ball.
It's a 2-minute warning.
Like this. I'm scared and I want to go home.
You are home.
Yeah.
I just asked my pen across the room, so.
Oh, why don't we say goodbye to our podcasters who are listening to this?
I mean, I was gonna have them sit here and listen to us ramble for 2 more minutes while we waited for the game to end, so they could be as excited as we are. Except for that I have nothing else to say to them. End of game! End of game! Final score!
We won! We fucking won!
All right, so boys and girls, thanks for coming to the Buffalo Bills edition of the Death and Aliens podcast. Hopefully when this comes out next week, we won't have lost to KC, so we can still be happy about it. Or maybe it'll be like a miracle and the Browns will beat KC. And it'll be like the underdog city where Cleveland and Buffalo are in the conference championships. Could you imagine what kind of upside down ass world would we be living in if that happened?
I couldn't tell you, man.
If you would like,
you have to send the link to this podcast to my father because he'll actually listen to it.
if you would like to talk to us about horror movies or football, or just tell us to never do this again, you can email us at deathandaliens@gmail.com or follow us on Instagram or Twitter at deathandaliens.
And you can follow me on Instagram at monica.lynn_ and Twitter at mon_lynn_.
Follow me on Instagram or Twitter at EMKAY_superstar. And
then you can come back next week for the chaotic. You have to stay for another 10 weeks to get to the chaotic finale that is most likely going to be Hemlock Grove season 3, and we really would like you guys to be along for this crazy ride because it gives me sanity knowing I'm not the only one, that me and Mary Kate aren't the only ones losing brain cells, and Courtney, honestly.
Just suffer with us. Just suffer with us. One more season.
Just one more, and then I promise we're doing some really cool stuff in the future that I know that you guys will love. So
yeah, there's definitely good things coming, including eventually Monica and I filming from the same room.
Exactly. And that will be a whole other different ball game.
Good luck watching that.
Yes. Pray for everything and everyone.
See you next week.